Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the MLB slate on DraftKings and Yahoo for Tuesday, September the 3rd. We got a 12-game slate tonight. We'll start off with pitching. We'll work our way through the pitcher-player pool. I'll be sure to hit on all the pitchers that I like for today for DraftKings and for Yahoo. Then we'll talk about three specific hitters I really like. And towards the end of the video, we will cover some stacks that I'll be going to, some stacks that I'll be playing. I do want to let you guys know that I made my video for the showdown slate on Thursday for the Thursday night football game. My first kind of like full NFL video of the year went out yesterday, so if you guys want to check that out, I'll really appreciate it. I will be uploading NFL videos all this week for the main slate. I'll be making videos for all the showdown slates. So for any of you guys that are new that are playing MLB or NFL DFS, I'm going to have a ton of content out. Starting now, I'm going to have NFL and MLB videos out daily. And then once NBA season starts, I'll be grinding out NBA videos daily as well. So make sure you are subscribed so that way you don't miss out on any of my new videos. Make sure you cut on notifications. Click the bell next to the subscribe button so that way you'll get notified every time I upload. And I would appreciate it if you would drop a like on this video as well if you do enjoy. But let's go ahead and start off at the top of the pitcher-player pool. Pretty loaded pitching slate. We got Clevenger, Scherzer, DeGrom, and Jack Flaherty all above 10K on DraftKings. Clevenger's facing the White Sox. DeGrom and Scherzer going up against each other. Scherzer gets the Mets. DeGrom gets the Nationals. And then you have Jack Flaherty facing the Giants. So just looking at these top four guys, Clevenger by far I feel like is in the best matchup here, facing the White Sox at home. He is the pitcher that I want to try and pay up for today. I know Scherzer and DeGrom are both elite pitchers, but their matchups are pretty tough. Like Scherzer against the Mets, not a great matchup. DeGrom against the Nationals, not a good matchup. Flaherty's in a great matchup against the Giants, but I would just rather pay up for Clevenger. I think Clevenger just gives you a ton of strikeout upside here. On Yahoo, I think Clevenger is easily the top play at $55. He's $5 less than Scherzer. DeGrom at $49 on Yahoo stands out quite a bit. I could see like playing DeGrom and Clevenger together. You could probably do that and still get in some bats that you want. But at SP1, Clevenger is going to be my guy here. Just a really good spot facing the White Sox, a team that has a ton of strikeouts in its lineup versus right-handed pitching. Clevenger is a heavy favorite at minus 305, just a 3.2 implied run total for the White Sox. Nothing surprising here. Clevenger should smash. This is a great spot. He's been pretty much an elite pitcher this year, racking up a ton of strikeouts, getting double-digit Ks. A lot this year, like 10 Ks against Detroit, 10 Ks against the Yankees, got 12 against Detroit when he faced them earlier this year. Just a great spot for Clevenger. He dominated this White Sox team when he pitched against them earlier this year, went 7 innings, only allowed 1 hit and 3 walks, got 12 strikeouts, 37 DraftKings points. Easily could see a similar performance for Clevenger. He could easily be the highest scoring pitcher on the slate by a pretty decent amount, so he's the guy I want to pay up for today. There's a ton of good mid-range and cheap value pitchers that you can pair with Clevenger, so it's going to be pretty easy to get him in and still get some decent bats to go with Clevenger, still get to the stacks you want to go to. So my top guys, Clevenger today, ranking Scherzer, DeGrom, and Flaherty. When you factor in price, I would probably go DeGrom number 2, Scherzer number 3, and then Jack Flaherty number 4. I'd probably say the same on Yahoo, where DeGrom's $49. I do like DeGrom quite a bit at $49. Between Flaherty and Scherzer on Yahoo, I honestly would think I would take Flaherty for $10 less, but I would much rather play DeGrom over Flaherty. So I would probably go DeGrom or Clevenger 1 on Yahoo, DeGrom 2, and then a big drop off, and then you got Flaherty 3, Scherzer 4. But looking at some of these mid-range options that we can maybe target, John Lester at $8,400 on DraftKings, I'm not a big fan of because that price tag's really high. On Yahoo, I think he's a pretty good play at just $33. He's the same price as Mitch Keller, and Mitch Keller's a guy that I like a lot here against the Marlins. But if you want to go to Lester, it is a really good matchup against the Mariners, facing them at home. A Mariners team that does have strikeouts in its lineup versus left-handed pitching. So Lester on Yahoo is pretty appealing. On DraftKings at $8,400, I think there's just guys for cheaper that I would rather play. Like a Sandy Alcantara against the Pirates you could look to. Alcantara is very appealing on Yahoo at just $30. If you're looking for a cheap pitcher to pair with one of your expensive guys, I think Alcantara at $30 is definitely someone you could potentially look to. But my favorite play by far in this mid-range is Mitch Keller. $7,200 on DraftKings. On Yahoo, he's at $33. He's the guy that I want to go to in that mid-range. It's a great spot for Mitch Keller, facing the Marlins at home. Keller is one of the top prospects top pitching prospects for the Pirates. He's had a rough start to the year. He's had some okay starts, and then he's just got blown up in some starts. But if you just look at his matchups, he hasn't really had an easy matchup besides the start where he got to face the Tigers. Had to face the Reds in Great American Ballpark. Had to face the Braves on the road. Had to face the Angels, the Cubs, the Reds again, the Phillies. I would say this is, besides that start against the Tigers, this is Keller's best matchup he's had so far here, getting to face the Marlins at home. It's a Marlins lineup that has plenty of strikeouts in its lineup versus right-handed pitching. It's a lineup that rolls out a lot of righties. Only 2 lefties in the projected lineup, so Keller will be getting the platoon advantage on a lot of these right-handed hitters. Just a great spot for Mitch Keller. It's a great pitcher's park as well. I like him a lot here as an SP2. He's definitely going to be an SP2 that I go to quite a bit today. And in lineups where I want to try and pay up for expensive bats, I'll probably have him as my SP1 and then go to a cheap guy that we'll talk about. There is a really cheap option on DraftKings that I like a lot that you could maybe pair with Clevenger or pair with a mid-range SP1 and kind of pay up for bats. But in that 7K range, Keller's by far my favorite play. I think Alcantara's in play. I think if you want to go to Lester, you could look to him, but my favorite play there is definitely going to be Mitch Keller. I would have a lot of interest in Julio Urias, but he's only expected to go about 3 innings. It looks like he's going to throw like 40, 45 pitches. It is a great matchup against the Rockies, but you just can't play him knowing that he's only going to pitch probably 3 innings. So let's talk about some of these value options that we can maybe consider on DraftKings. There's a couple guys I think are playable here. You have like Derek Rodriguez, who's not a good pitcher, but he's only 5K. He's facing the Cardinals. It's not a good matchup, but anytime you get a pitcher for 5K or less that's fully stretched out that can go 90, 100 pitches, that at least puts him in play. Rodriguez was pretty chalky last slate when he faced the Padres at home, and he got blown up. 5 innings, allowed 8 hits, 5 runs, 2 home runs. Rodriguez not usually a guy I play. He's definitely more of a secondary value pitcher because I think the best value pitcher is at 4,300, who we'll talk about in a second. But if you want to go to Rodriguez as a cheap option, I could see using him. But if I'm going to pay down, my favorite guy by far is Mike Montgomery. Montgomery's only 4,300. He's facing the Tigers at home. It's a great matchup for Montgomery. Just a 4.5 total for the Tigers. And we know how bad this Tigers lineup is. Even though they're going to have a lot of righties in their lineup, it's still a good matchup because these right-handed hitters are just not good right-handed hitters. Montgomery's not a terrible pitcher either. He's not a great strikeout pitcher. He's not a guy that's going to go out there and get a bunch of Ks. But he's 4,300. You really don't need him to do much to pay off this price tag. He had like the best game of his career when he faced the Tigers a couple starts ago. Had 12 strikeouts in 7 innings, allowed 4 hits, 41 DraftKings points. Definitely don't expect that kind of performance from Mike Montgomery. But at 4,300, he's easily the best value pitcher on the slate. Like if you want to pay up for bats and you want to take Keller out of there and put Montgomery at SP2, I could totally see doing that. Or if you really want to pay up for expensive bats, like if you want to get like what's a couple expensive teams that are in really good spots, like maybe the Braves with their 6.3 total. If you want to pay up for guys like Acuna, Freeman, or even go to a stack like the Indians or the Red Sox, then going to like Clevenger or taking out Clevenger at SP1, putting Keller in as your SP1, and then going to Montgomery as your SP2, I think makes a ton of sense on DraftKings today. Mike Montgomery, easily one of the best value pitchers on the slate. Now on Yahoo, I don't think you need to play Mike Montgomery because he's at $37. You have Fulton Evans for cheaper. You have Lester for cheaper. You have Keller for cheaper. Alcantara's cheap. So I don't really have much interest in Montgomery, but with his DraftKings price, he's easily the best like point per dollar value pitcher on the slate. But let's go ahead and talk about some bats now since we pretty much covered pitching. So the Indians are a team that I like a lot today here versus Dylan Cease. Dylan Cease, a pretty highly touted prospect for the White Sox, but this is just not a good spot for him, and he has really struggled this year. He has to face the Indians here with their 5.9 total. Kind of looks like there might be some winds blowing out, kind of blowing towards right field, which should help hitting. 79 degrees is pretty good hitting weather as well. Really like these Indians bats. Some of them are pretty cheap as well. Yasiel Puig on DraftKings is only $3,900. Oscar Mercado is only $4K. Those are 2 guys that I like a lot. I like them a lot on Yahoo as well. We'll talk about their Yahoo price in a second. We have them $4K and $3,900. I think they make for really good value plays as a part of your Indian stacks. Puig's not a great price on Yahoo. He's at $16, but if I'm stacking the Indians, I still want to get him in there. Mercado, though, on Yahoo is a top value play. He's minimum salary. He'll probably be batting second. Easily one of the best cash plays if you're playing cash. Even if you're not, if you're stacking the Indians, probably shouldn't leave him out of your stacks because he just gives you so much good value at that $7 price tag. But I like going to both of these guys. Both guys do have a little bit of power. Obviously, Puig has more power than Mercado. Both guys have some speed as well, though. Mercado and Puig can both steal bases if they get on versus Cease. Cease has just been really bad this year. He's really struggled. I expect he'll probably be a good pitcher later on in the road, but so far this year, things haven't gone his way. He's had a lot of tough matchups, and when he's had tough matchups, he's kind of gotten blown up. Like, got blown up against the Twins, gave up 5 runs to the Angels, pitched okay against Houston, gave up only 2 runs, still gave up 2 home runs, though, in that start, or 4 runs, just 2 earned runs, but gave up 2 home runs. I believe he's given up a home run in every start this year. I think he has. Yeah, he's given up at least 1 home run in every start this year. He's probably going to give up at least 1 home run here. Wouldn't be surprised if either Puig or Mercado hits one. So these are 2 guys I like a lot from the Indians, and the Indians are one of my favorite stacks today. But now to finish out my 5 for DraftKings, I do want to give you guys a really cheap play since we only have $37.83 remaining per player. First base, I like Rowdy Tellez a lot as a value option, assuming he's in the lineup. Right now, Fantasy Labs does have him in the projected lineup, but it is a National League, or they're facing a National League team, so there's a chance he doesn't crack the lineup, but maybe they sit smoke and they let Tellez play. Right now, he's projected back cleanup. Assuming he does back cleanup, I like him a lot at just $3,400. This is a guy that does have a lot of power, 16 home runs on the year. It is a good matchup against Foltynewicz. Foltynewicz will give up home runs. He has struggled a lot this year to left-handed pitching. You just look at his last few starts. He's given up 2, 1, 2, 4, 3, 8 earned runs. Pretty much given up at least 1 or 2 earned runs in every start this year. I think Foltynewicz is playable today because he's so cheap, and the Blue Jays just aren't that good of an offense. But I do like taking a couple of these Blue Jays bats against Foltynewicz, specifically the really cheap ones like Biggio's cheap, Guerrero's cheap, Randall Grichuk's really cheap, and then Tellez at $3,400 I like a lot. Don't know if I'd do like a full 4 or 5-man stack against Foltynewicz, but if you want to do like a 2 or 3-man, take some one-offs, I could see doing that, especially the guys that give you some value. And Tellez I like a lot at just $3,400 on DK. But now to finish out my 5 on Yahoo, a guy that I like a lot at second base. He's pretty underpriced in my opinion. I think there's 2 guys that are really good plays here. Ozzy Albies is only $15. I like him a lot against Wilmer Font, and then whoever's going to be the long reliever. I'm not sure who it is, but with their 6.3 total, I imagine the Braves, it's going to be a good spot for the Braves regardless. So Albies I like a lot at 15, but Whit Merrifield at 14 definitely stands out here. So Daniel Norris is going to be the opener for the Tigers, and then Drew Varhagen is going to follow him. Norris, assuming he's pitching okay at least, will probably go about 2 or 3 innings. There's a chance Merrifield will get to face Norris twice, which is something I like. Norris really struggles to righties. He does give up power to righties. And Whit Merrifield versus left-handed pitching is just one of the better hitters in the league. He doesn't strike out much. Merrifield's going to put the ball in play. He has a lot of power. He has speed. It is a pretty good spot for the Royals. They're usually not a team I like to stack, but now that they have Alberto Mondesi back in the lineup, it is a pretty appealing stack. You have the top 4 guys all with power. Merrifield, Mondesi, Soler, and Dozier have a lot of power. The 5 through 9 I probably won't be going to, but if you want to do that 4-man stack, the 1 through 4, I like quite a bit from the Royals. They do have a 5.1 total, which is not the highest on the slate, but for the Royals, that's a pretty high, assuming just saying how bad this lineup is. So Merrifield at $14 on Yahoo, definitely one of the better second base plays of the day in my opinion. But these are my 5 plays for Yahoo and for DraftKings today. Let's go ahead and look at some stacks before we end the video. So I would say my favorite stack, when you factor in just how much value is in their lineup, I like the Indians a lot here against Dylan Cease. 5.9 implied run total. Wouldn't be surprised if we see that rise a bit. So the Indians are going to be a team I look to get a lot of. I do like the Braves here against Wilmer Font and then the long reliever. I think the Braves are in a really good spot. 6.3 implied run total for them. You could definitely look to some Royals bats, specifically the right-handed hitters and the 1 through 4. Merrifield, Mondesi, Soler, and Dozier. I do like quite a bit. Chichi Gonzalez, always a guy I look to stack against, even when he's outside of cores. 6 implied run total for the Dodgers. They are definitely an interesting stack to go to, and they're not that expensive either. Like Seager's only $4K, Pollock's only $4,100, Taylor's under $4K, Beatty's at $4K. Really, the only expensive hitters in this lineup are Bellinger and Will Smith. They give you a lot of value, and the Dodgers do have one of the higher totals on the slate, so they are a team you can look to as well. But I think that's it for stacks, guys, and I think that is it for this video. So hopefully you did enjoy this video, and hopefully it did help you. If you enjoyed, make sure you drop a like down below. I would really appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm going to have NFL videos coming out all this week. Already made one for the showdown slate for Thursday Night Football, so if you want to check that video out, I would really appreciate it. You're going to want to make sure you're subscribed so that way you don't miss out on any of my new NFL videos coming out and my MLB videos that I'll still be uploading daily as well. But thank you guys so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed, and we will see you in the next one. Good luck tonight, guys. Peace.